Jagrata, Jai Masters. One has to decide at some point how they want to live their life. For some reason, and the reason's understandable but not necessary, we end up struggling. We end up suffering. We end up fearing. Life becomes a problem that we're trying to solve. And then the whole of life becomes, can we solve that problem? What if there's not a problem? What if life is not a problem and it's just something we're doing, and therefore we're seeing it as a problem, and the best we can do is try to solve it, but what you're going to find out is you can never solve it. It's like wanting to be loved. It's okay you want to be loved, but I don't know if you've caught on yet that if you want to be loved, you will never feel loved. You'll feel a little more love than you used to, but you'll always wonder whether it will go away, and you wonder if somebody really loves you, and you'll be afraid of getting hurt. And anybody know anything about that? In other words, lack of love cannot feel love because there's lack of love. There needs to be a change in the dynamic of what's going on. So if we view life as a problem, and we do, and we always go out there to try to solve it, that's what we're going to do with our life. I always like to start, you were born one day and you're going to die one day. Nothing you can do about that. And there's this time in between called your life. Everything you can do about that, that belongs to you. Doesn't belong to your parents, doesn't belong to your kids. It belongs to you. That's your time. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, sick or healthy, male or female, old or young. That's your time, period. The time that's left between now and your death, the time between your birth and your death. So when I ask, what do you want to do with your life? What are you doing with your life? What is it like to live your life? You need to step all the way back and say, I'm going to spend some time spinning around this planet in the middle of nowheres. And that's the truth. That's all you're doing, is spending some time spinning around a planet in the middle of nowheres. Do you know that? The other day I was talking and I was shocked how many people sat up and listened, because I think of it all the time. The truth of the matter is, you are on a spaceship in the middle of outer space. That's the truth. It's a nice spaceship. It's a very big spaceship, but it's no different than the ISS, the International Space Station. It's just bigger. If you're in the International Space Station, are you in outer space? You say, yeah. Well, if you're on the planet Earth spinning around the same empty, absolute black outer space as the ISS, why are you not in outer space? You are in outer space right now. You're just sitting on this amazing spaceship that's very well designed, where you don't need a suit. And well, inside the ISS, you don't need a suit. You go outside, you need it. Well, you go outside this one, you need it. So you're just on this rock that is very well designed to support you, but it is floating through outer space, and that's all that's happening. You can do something else with it if you want to, but the truth of the matter is, that's what's happening, isn't it? And if somebody asks you, what did you do today? The answer is a 360. Because that's what you did. Is it not? You sat on a planet that spun on its axis and came back to the spot it was in 24 hours and whatever minutes or seconds ago. It's not exactly right, okay? Then if somebody asks you, what did you do today? You have the right that's your answer. That's what you did today. Well, how was that? Well, it was fun. Did you have to pedal hard to get it to revolve on its axis? Right? And then you start to realize, well, I'm very concerned about what will happen today. Do you know how many times that planet has spun in its orbit? I think they say it's 4.5 billion years old, and there's 365 days in the year. That is a lot. That is a lot. That's like hundreds of billions of years. That's a very big number. And it's been spinning on its axis every single day, exactly the same, for all that time. And you can't handle one rotation. You get all weird about one rotation. At some point you stop and look at it and say, well, that's absurd. That's ridiculous. Why can't you handle it? Why can't you just enjoy that you have dropped down onto a planet? I asked you, how'd you get here? Did you take a spaceship to get to the ISS? Man, that's tough, right? You got to build rocket ships with great thrust that hurl you through. How did you get here? Kind of weird. Look at how long we have to plan to figure out how to get to Mars. to get one of you to Mars. How did you end up on this planet? And where did you come from? These are very neat questions, but the answers don't matter. What matters is, isn't that fun? Because you ended up here on this planet, didn't you? It's like I told you, the portal you came through is not discussable. It's unbelievable. You kind of dropped out of mommy's tummy. I don't know. That's a weird way to get here, right? It's a portal. It's a portal just like in Star Trek or something, all right? And you fell through the portal and you ended up on the planet Earth. It's kind of neat. And you don't know where you came from and you don't know where you're going to after you leave. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's exciting. Why do you have to know? Anytime you spend thinking about what's going to happen after you die is time that you waste enjoying the experience of being alive. So if you're going to have an experience, an adventure, you don't want to know everything's going to happen, then it's not an adventure. It's something you created in your mind, and then you can't experience the joy and the enthusiasm and the spontaneity of the experience. So that's how you should look at death. You will get to do it once. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Well, a once-in-a-lifetime experience, we use that for a positive term, don't we? My marriage, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It doesn't always end up that way. This one does end up that way. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience you're going to get to experience. It is an experience you're going to have. These are such simple basics about life. If you can't handle the fact that someday you're going to die, I am telling you, you can't enjoy your life. Why? Because you are going to die someday. If you can't enjoy, literally not just accept, enjoy the fact that you are going to go through this experience that is once in a lifetime, you do not have the slightest idea what's going to happen, but you will get to find out. And why is that not neat? This is how a healthy person lives life. If you are that way about death, you never have to think about it ever again, do you? You have to worry about it or anything like that. It's like, wow, I'm going to get to have this adventure. Now, some of you will say, but what if there's not an adventure? What if when I die, then I'm gone? It's not there anymore. It won't be a problem. It's not like you'll be saying, oh my God, I'm not here. No, you're not there. You're not there. All right? It would be just fine. And then if you find out that when you drop the body, that what do I mean by you? Hi, you in there? You who looks out through the eyes. You who watches your dreams. You who's been there the entire time. Haven't you been in there? You in there? Hi. Will you still be there? I want you to... Ramana Maharshi was a great saint in India, one of the greatest that ever walked the soils of India. He reached enlightenment at a very young age. I don't remember how old he was, 14, 15 years old, something like that. And he went upstairs and he laid down and he made believe he was dead. And he just said, if this body is dead, where am I? And he contemplated the nature of he who was independent of the body. Literally reached enlightenment that day, lying down on the floor and making believe he was dead. He just he said, body, you're dead, and just felt it as dead weight. And then he realized, well, he was there feeling the dead weight. Is that what's going to happen at death? Will you be there noticing that your breaths are getting harder to breathe? Will you know that that's happening? But dying people say that. It's getting harder to breathe. How do you know? Because I'm in here. Who? The same me who cried for mommy. The same me that said, I want my blankie. Well, you're not in there? Okay, wake up. You who's in there are going to find out that there's a phenomenal journey. All right? And you get to look forward to it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about heaven. Don't. It will ruin your life. Understand that at the end of your life, there is this experience, and you will get to have it. Will there be a tunnel with a white light? You'll find out. It's none of your business. If you can't handle something that is none of your business, right now your business is what's in front of you. Your business is your life. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to get your mind all messed up, trying to figure out this, that, and the other thing. You're going to miss your life. People miss their lives because they fear about death. So the only thing you need to know about death is as follows. You're sitting on a planet spinning in the middle of nowhere. Got that down? Check. You don't know how you got there, but you know you're there. You're there the entire time, and we'll talk about the experiences while you're there, and then the end time comes, and it is going to die. What is this body that came out of mommy's womb? Somehow it fell out here in the middle of nowhere. Is going to die. That's all. That's all. That's all. It's very simple, isn't it? It's truth. It's reality, and then you will experience what happens after that. Fine. So now that's over with. Okay, while the time you are here, the planet is going to spin on its axis every 24 hours, and we call them days, and you're going to have a ride. You're going to get to go for a ride. Okay, well, that's kind of neat. And every year, guess what it's going to do? A big 360. So if somebody says to you, what'd you do last year? Spun around the sun. That is what you did last year. You took a lap around the sun. That's all that happened. Well, it sounds pretty easy to live here. You just sit on the planet, it spins on its axis, and it orbits the sun. So what's so hard about that? Why are you having trouble? I started this by saying people have a problem with life and they try to solve it. So far, I don't see a problem. Are you afraid it's not going to spin? It has spun around the sun 4.5 billion times. It probably can do another few. You don't have to worry about it, do you? And probably you don't worry about it, do you? All right? But it's pretty important, though. So now we got to go down a little closer, unfortunately. And we have to sit here and say, what I'm searching for, I'm searching for the problem. There's always a problem in there. I haven't found one yet. Where's the problem? What's so hard about life? I don't see it. So we come down a little bit closer. We say, all right, yes, it's true. It spins on its axis, and I'm spinning in the middle of absolute empty space. There's nothing going on out there. And here I am spinning around. But there is something going on here, if you've noticed. Maybe you noticed. What do you mean? Well, there's trees. Okay. And there's roads, and there's people, and there's mosquitoes, and there's animals, lots and lots of animals, and lots of fish, and lots of plants. And there's lots of things, aren't there? How many things are there on the planet Earth? Hundreds of billions of zillions of them. Okay? Well, is that a problem? That there's all these things? What's the difference? To me, there's more of a problem. There's nothing on Mars. What's on Mars? Dirt. But it's reddish. Okay, that'll get old quick. There's nothing going on there. Here, there's all this stuff going on. Do you have to make the mosquitoes fly? Do you have to make the worms crawl? Do you have to make people walk around? You don't have to do anything. Just the same as the planet is spinning its axis, everything that's on the planet is going about its business, doing its thing. There's mountains, there's valleys. I was talking about living things. There's all these geological things, right? There's a Grand Canyon, there's oceans. Oh my God, what an amazing place. All right, what does it cost? Nothing. It just is that way. It's just that way. And so basically now we've come down closer and we've said we're spinning around the sun once a year and we're spinning our axis once a day. And while all that's going on, there's this life, this planet, this existence that is going on that is the most fascinating, interesting thing that could ever be. You understand? You could spend your entire life studying a worm, couldn't you? Right? What makes it do what it does and where it come from and what's its genetics. And it's the whole thing. Every single thing you look at is the most interesting thing in the entire universe. Figure out why her nose is the way it is. You got to get into the genetics of the mother and the father and where they came from, what part of Russia, and every single thing. I don't know where you're from. But anyways, you probably don't either. But you can turn in your genetics, and it's very interesting. All right? You'll find out how interesting all of this is. So again, now I've added all the things that there are, and I don't see a problem. So now you get to sit on the planet during the time between your birth and your death, and you get to experience this phenomenal flow of events that unfold in front of you. They're never the same. It's not like you're bored. There's never a single moment that's the same as the moment before. All the atoms move, all the electrons move, all the people move. So you have this amazing unfolding of a show. Well, what if I feel like I can't see everything? I only see what's in front of me because my senses are limited, so maybe I'll miss something. Sometimes you think that way, don't you? Let me get this straight once and for all. You are missing everything. You are only experiencing this tiny little event that's happening in front of you, right or wrong. How much is going on elsewhere? Everywhere else. So you're picking up 0.0000001% of what's going on. Fine. That's just the way it is. That's the way it is. You're not everywhere. You're here. And the question becomes not, am I missing something? You're missing everything else. The question is, am I bothering to experience the beauty, the awesomeness, the unfolding, the magic? It's really magic I'm sitting on a planet out in outer space. There's nothing. Do you understand that? There's nothing. There's no people. There's no worms. There's no roaches. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. Complete emptiness. It's so black and so empty for so long. And where I am, there's colors and shapes and, wow, man, it's like a museum sculpture, okay? I'm not seeing all of it, but at least I'm seeing the part I'm seeing. So that we took care of that. So you're not going to experience everything, but if you're smart, you're going to experience the part that's in front of you, the part that you're experiencing. Again, where's the problem? I haven't come to a problem yet. It sounds to me it'd be a heck of an experience to come down to the planet Earth, spin around, get to see what's unfolding in front of you, deal with it, interact with it, and so on, and have fun. Wake up in the morning and giggle. I wonder what will happen today. It's going to be fun. You don't have a single thing on your mind, you don't have a single problem. You just wake up and there it is, and then you go through your day and you see what unfolds, you play with it, you dance with it, you have fun experiencing the awesomeness that's better than empty black space, which is everywhere else, and you get to have this, and then you put your head down at night and you giggle again. That was so much fun. What was the day? What happened when the planet was spinning? There are no problems. There are no issues. There's nothing. There's just the experience of what it means to be alive on the planet Earth. So we haven't found any problems yet. Then why are there so many problems? Why are we solving so many problems? All right. You ready? It's very simple. And this is what Buddha taught you. It's very simple. A world is going to unfold in front of me. That's just reality. If in my mind, because I have a mind in here, I know you do too. If in my mind, instead of experiencing what's unfolding in front of me, I have decided what I want to experience. Anybody know anything about that? About deciding in your mind what you want to be happening in front of you instead of experiencing what's happening in front of you? All right. That is the cause of all problems. If you come down here onto a planet that's been here for 4.5 billion years, in a universe that's been here for 13.8 billion, and you dropped in, not even yesterday, it's so small, it's ridiculous, and you dropped down onto this system that's unfolding in front of you, and it has been unfolding forever. I don't know how to tell you. The moment you just dropped in didn't just get created because of you. It was going on before you got there. Walk into a restaurant, walk into a classroom, walk into a house. It was there before you walked in. Isn't that funny? And things were going on for a real long time, 4.5 billion years before you showed up. And they caused everything to be the way it is. You didn't do it, did you? But you walked in there and you made up in your mind, cute little thing that you are, how you want it to be. Who you want sitting where, who gets to talk to who, what everyone's supposed to be wearing, every single thing that's going on. You have decided in your mind what you want it to be like, haven't you? All right, well, I'm telling you, and we'll discuss it a little bit, that's the cause of every single problem you'll ever have and every single problem everybody has, and is the cause of all disharmony that exists in this world. It's the cause of wars, it's the cause of suffering, mistreatment, it's the cause of anger, it's the cause of every single problem that exists in this world. The reason that it is not fun to be on this planet Earth is because everyone's doing that. Because everybody is making up in their own mind how they want it to be. That's bad enough. Then what if you just did that, if everyone made up in their own mind how they want it to be, you'd have a bunch of grumpy people running around. Why? What is the probability it's going to be the way you want? How about 0? Why would it happen? You're not creating the universe. What's going to unfold in front of you is the result of everything that ever happened before. If they tell you that you are the creator of the universe, that is not true. Do not believe them. You are not the creator of your universe. You create how you experience your universe. There's no question about that. In other words, there's a roach running by. Is that neat or is that disgusting and terrible? Well, you choose. So in a sense, you created the experience of your universe. Somebody came up to you and said, I've always been embarrassed to tell you, but I love you so much. You're so special. Ever since I knew you in kindergarten, but I've just been so shy, right? Is that a neat experience or does it make you sick to your stomach? It depends on whether you wanted it to happen or not. It depends on whether you like that person. It depends on whether you're standing next to your wife or husband when they come up and tell you. It depends on a lot of different things, doesn't it? Right? In essence, it depends on what you're thinking in your mind. The exact same event can turn you on or turn you off. The exact same event that turns you on turns somebody else off. It is your state of mind that is determining how you are doing, not what is happening outside. It is your state of mind that is determining the quality of your life, how you are doing, not what is unfolding in front of you. You think war is a terrible thing and there shouldn't be any wars. I'll bring in Rambo. He thinks it's the greatest thing that ever was. Give me the next one. I'm a mercenary. It is whatever your state of mind is going to determine how you interact with what's unfolding in front of you. It is not going to determine what's unfolding in front of you. What determines what's unfolding in front of you? 800 billion zillion forces that unfolded through time manifested as the moment in front of you. Everything that ever was had to be exactly the way it was for that moment to be in front of you the way it is. Do you see that? I can argue that if a dinosaur walked in a different direction, your hair would not be the color it was. Everything is dependent upon everything else. It all interacts together and creates the next moment and determines what's going to happen. It's science. It's very straightforward stuff. So what's in front of you took 13.8 billion years to get there. I always hold my mind to that. Listen, mind, you do whatever you want. I can't control you. But I'll tell you this. Whatever's in front of you, which has nothing to do with you, took 13.8 billion years to get there. And it is the way it is because of every single thing that happened during those 13.8 billion years. You change any of it. I just changed one. I'll change the day it rained 43 years ago. And your mommy didn't run into the store to take cover and fall over your daddy, or soon to be your daddy. That's how they met. If it didn't rain, it didn't happen. Everything has to be exactly the way it was for things to be the way they are. So when you just decide, hey, I'm going to have fun, I'll make up in my mind what I want to be in front of me. Holy mackerel. That's an unbelievable thing you just did. You just pitted make-believe against reality. You just decided, I'm going to make up in my mind. We'll talk about why you decided what you decided, but you just made up in your mind to fight against, to go oppose what took 13.8 billion years of everything to be exactly the way it was to be in front of you. What is the probability they're going to match? What you made up in your mind and what's unfolding in front of you. If you won the lottery 600,000 times in a row, the probability is higher that that would happen than the moment in front of you will be the way you made up. It's just called reality. You can't argue it. You are not the creator of the moment in front of you, period. And it's a good thing. Why? I don't want it to be the way you want. I want it to be the way I want. And there's no way I made up what you made up. So who wins? That's what the weapons are for. Do you think I'm kidding? That's all it is you think you have the right to make up what you want. And then you think you have the right to come into reality and say, you're supposed to be the way I want. You're supposed to behave the way I want. You're supposed to love me when I'll be loved and leave me alone when I'll be left alone. I need my space. If you really love me, you'd be able to tell when I need my space. Things should be the way I made up. That's so cute. You know, in kindergarten, they taught you to use your imagination. Did they forget to tell you that it doesn't happen? It's just imagination. It's good to be able to create things. And now you grow up and you make up every single moment of every day how you want everyone to be, how close they can stand to you in the elevator, what day it's not supposed to rain tomorrow, is it? Why, I had my hair done. I wanted to get frizzy. I got a weekend date. People think like that, all right? That is so absurd. And no one holds yourself to task. You do not get to make up the way it's supposed to be. Now, I'm not saying you can't influence it. The future has not happened yet. And you are part of the inputs that can influence the moments that are unfolding. We'll get there in a minute, right? But you do not get to make up how everything's supposed to be the minute you walk there. And we're talking about how to not enjoy your journey on the planet Earth. It's not hard. Just make up what's supposed to be in front of you all the time, and I assure you will not enjoy your journey. Why? Because it's not going to be that way. I told you it's spinning on its axis and around the sun, and it's been doing it for billions of years, and you just got it dropped in for a moment, and it's happening everywhere, and you're only experiencing the moments in front of you, but they're all connected. Everything is connected to everything else. And if you want to, instead of enjoying the awesomeness and the moments that fall in front of you, who says it's awesome? I do, because the alternative is there's nothing. The alternative is go look in outer space and just see nothing. A lot more fun to see something, isn't it? All right? So you're having an awesome experience. Anytime somebody says, how was your day? It is amazing. There were actually things there when I looked. Just an amazing experience that stuff exists. But if you want to make up in your mind, you're allowed to. It's your free will. You do whatever you want. Make up in your mind how you want the weather to be, how you want people to behave, what you want people to wear when you go to the party so it matches what you wear. When you walk into a restaurant, make up what music they're supposed to be playing, how close the tables are supposed to be, what the waiter's supposed to be like, what the special for the day is supposed to be. You understand that? Because you're vegetarian. Oh my God, have fun. Why? Because you won't. Because if you make it up, and you're welcome to, what is going to happen, you're going to find out, is not that way. It is not that way. It will never be that way. It is not supposed to be that way. It has history behind it. You don't. You just made it up. Oh, he's cute. I hope he comes over here. Okay, have fun. Now you get all jealous when he goes somewhere else. You don't even know him. Don't you tell me you don't do that. So basically, you come back here and you realize you can make up what you want, but it's not going to happen. Okay, fine. You can get upset if you want because it's not the way you want. You know you do. All right? Fine. But here's the one I really hope you don't do. Decide that you're right. It is supposed to be the way you want, and it's going to be the way you want if it's the death of me. And I'm going to go out there and fight with reality to make it be the way I want. Wow, how do you do that? He took years to be the way he is, but he's not the way I want him to be. I have this way I want him to be because I need something from him, right? Well, what do? I can complain, I can yell at him, I get angry, I can manipulate and control his behavior. I can do all kinds of things to try to make it be the way I want, okay? It will never, ever, ever be the way you want. Because the moment that's unfolding that your experience, that you're saying you don't like, already happened. It already happened. He already said what you didn't like. He already didn't do what you hoped he would do. That's why you're trying to manipulate the next moment. And you're going to find out that the reason somebody behaves the way they do has nothing to do with you. It has to do with the factors that make people be the way they are. Their genetics, what they ate for dinner last night, the phone call they had right before you met them. Just so many factors that have nothing to do with you. That makes people be the way they are. So you can manipulate all you want. You can go in there and show lovey-dovey to try and manipulate him. You can get angry and strong, go sleep on the couch. You do whatever you want. And you tell me how it's working out. Because you are not going to get it the way you want. And so if what you're struggling, if we started this whole conversation by saying life is a problem, I have to solve it, you're not solving that one. If we're going to be honest, say, what's the problem? Things aren't the way I want. That really is the problem, isn't it? You have to get more specific. Things aren't the way I want. You all want them to be different ways. All I know is you all got the same problem. Things aren't the way I want. What if things are the way you want? I got no problems. How about you? It's because they are not the way you want. I said to you a moment ago, in case this sounds avant-garde, that these are Buddhist teachings. Buddha was 500 BC. How are these Buddhist teachings? Buddha said all of life is suffering. Whoa. I think we laid the groundwork for that, didn't we? Everybody's suffering. You think rich people aren't suffering? You think powerful people aren't suffering? Everybody's suffering in different ways. They're all suffering. Rich people, poor people, young people, old people, everything. Everyone's got problems, don't they? All right? You've had problems throughout your entire life, all right, except for one moment. Every once in a while there's a moment where something's the way you want. And yo, I don't do no trouble. He's my dream guy. You will see how long that lasts. Come back in a few minutes. A few hours. It doesn't work like that. So Buddha said all of life is suffering. Why? Because you cause it to be suffering. You suffer. And then he asked this deepest question. Oh, it moves me so deeply. What a brilliant man. What is the cause of suffering? What is the cause of suffering? He left his family. He went and meditated. He starved himself. My God, this guy went through so much because he wanted to find out what's the cause of suffering. And at one moment, he had this amazingly enlightening experience. And he came back from the woods and he said, I have found the cause of suffering. And they said, what? He said, I have found the cause of suffering. You found the cause of all suffering? All suffering has one cause? Yes. Right? He didn't come back and say old age. He didn't come back and say, poverty. He didn't come back and say anything like that. Sickness. He didn't say that. He said the cause of all suffering is preference. He used the word desire, but that's an interpretation. What is a desire? A preference. The cause of all suffering is having a way you want it to be. Just make up in your head how you want it to be, and you're not going to be comfortable. Make up in your head right now that you're the only person in the room. There shouldn't be those other people here because they're in the way and they're moving around. And, right? You'll be very uncomfortable. Make up that there should be more good-looking guys and girls and your age and nice place to meet people. Where are they? They're not here. You'll be uncomfortable. Anything you make up in your head will cause you to suffer because it's not going to be the way you want, because there's no reason it would be. So Buddha taught that the cause of all suffering is desire. The cause of all suffering is preference. The third Zen patriarch put it really beautifully. The cause of all suffering is setting aside what you like from what you dislike. Just make up in your head how you want this world to be that has nothing to do with you. The one that's the result of 13.8 billion years. Make up in your head how you want it to be, and I assure you, you're going to suffer. Have you noticed that? Okay? And he asks a very simple question. How do you end suffering? Stop it. It's a Buddhist teaching. There's a noble truth. There's a third noble truth, right? Stop desiring. Stop preferencing. Stop doing that with your mind. It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? It's so unbelievably simple that it's the truth, right? Now we'll talk about how to live in that state, because you can live in that state. But first you have to understand why you have so many problems. I don't even have to know you, and I know you have a lot of problems. If I ask you to make a list of your problems, you can make a big list. And tomorrow I'll make a list of your problems, you make a slightly different list. A year from now, a slightly different list. But you're going to have a list every single time. The problems is simple. The problem is always the same. Things are not the way I want. Or things are the way I don't want. It's going to be one of those two things, right? Things are the way I don't want them to be, or things are not the way I want them to be. That causes problems, and that causes suffering. So instead, you come down to the core and you say, I want to enjoy my journey on this planet. I don't care what happened before. I don't care what anybody did. I care about the fact that the world's going to unfold in front of me, and I would like to enjoy it. I would like to appreciate it. I would like to respect it. More, I would like to be able to interact with it with love, with caring, with compassion, with enthusiasm. I get to experience this moment. Oh boy. It's not that you don't interact with it. You do interact with it. Life isn't just about experiencing, which is what I've talked so far, that the world unfolds, you get to experience it. That should be enough. You should just say thank you all the time. For what? For existing. Thank you for entertaining me. Thank you for not being black, empty space that have nothing to do, right? Thank you for existing, all of you. Thank you. Thank you for the mountains. Thank you for the streams. Thank you for the clouds. Thank you for the dirt. Thank you for the roaches. Thank you for the mosquitoes. Thank you for everything that exists when it doesn't have to. Thank you. You get real with this. All right, now I've appreciated it, but you know what? I get to express myself. I do, all right? It's one thing I get to do. I get to experience and I get to express. You too? Right? Or do you just sit in there and experience? You do sit in there and experience, but also you can send it out, can't you? You can make the arms move. You can talk to people. You can express your inside out. And you can experience outside in. That's what's going on. You are the indwelling being, the consciousness, the soul. And you have come here and dropped down onto this planet to learn, to experience, to become greater because of the experiences you're having. Every single experience you have makes you a wholer being. If you've never seen a mosquito before and you see one, you are a greater person than you were before, because now you know about mosquitoes. If you never ate a banana before and you ate a banana, you are a greater being than you were before, because you're a being of more knowledge, you're a being of more wisdom, you're a being of more experience. Experience is your teacher. Therefore, every single experience you have makes you wholer, makes you greater. Okay? That's how you live this life here. Unless you don't want to have the experience. Then it really screws you up. How can you not want to have the experience you already had? It already happened. You can't not have it. Ever. No one has ever not had an experience they already had. You'd have to go in a time machine and go back and do something, all right? The experience actually happened. It came in. You experienced it. Learn from it. Grow from it. Say thank you to it. Appreciate it. I don't care if it was a comfortable experience or an uncomfortable experience. You know that they come in both flavors, right? There are comfortable experiences, there are uncomfortable experiences. And if you're learning tennis, right? I don't play tennis, but I always use the example. If you're learning tennis and your coach hits you a ball and it's right in your sweet spot, oh, you're really good then, aren't you, right? You slam that thing. It just felt just right. It's right in the sweet spot. It's just right. That's quite an experience. Now the coach hits your ball, your backhand, your arms are weak, your wrists are weak, right? You're just starting to take it. Well, you hit it right in the net, all right? Which of those two experiences is better? And don't you dare answer me. Because if you answered me, I would say the one in the backhand where you hit it into the net. Why? You needed to learn something. The other one you're already done with. You already know how to do that. Here, you did real well in 5th grade math. 6th, you didn't do so good. But just go back to 5th. You get an A. Just stay there. It makes so much sense, right? It's so much fun to get an A and be the smartest person. Not one of you would do it, would you? Well, it's the same thing with life. You're going to have experiences. Some of them are going to be pleasant. Some of them are not. It doesn't matter. They are learning experiences. The more you learn, the greater you become. The more you hit that tennis ball backhand, the next time, and the next time, and the next time, at some point you'll get it across the net. And at some point you may get as good with the backhand as you are with the forehand. You have the experiences you're having, you grow from them, you become a greater being, and you appreciate every experience. You appreciate that the coach hit it at your backhand. You appreciate that your arm was so weak and now you got to build it up. You love it all, period. This is how to live your life. You're sitting on a planet, spinning in the middle of nowhere, enjoying the entire experience. Nothing has to be a particular way. Nothing has to not be a particular way. And so you get to the point where you finally get over this stupid game of not appreciating the experience that are being given to you. Because I'm going to tell you a secret. Once it already happened and it came into you, you're not changing it. That's the experience you had. You have a choice. Resist it and suffer. Learn to appreciate it, learn from it, grow from it, embrace it. Totally. I want you to embrace it completely. But what if it was a bad experience? Embrace it completely. Well, how do I embrace it completely? By understanding that even bad experience has something to teach you. You just enjoy the experiences you're having. I'm not saying you don't do something about it. We'll get there in a second. But the first thing you do is you honor the fact that you're spinning on a planet, middle of nowhere. It is unfolding in accordance to the forces that make it be what it is. And you are having the right, the honor to experience what's in front of you, even though you're missing the rest. You're experiencing that, and that experience is making you a wholer being. Every single time it's making you a wholer being. That's your starting place of a perfect life. Life is so full. All of your being is in the... That's what it means to be here now. That's what it means to live in the current moment. That's what mindfulness means. To bring your being into the experience you're actually having, instead of letting lost in your mind complaining about the experience you're having. And all of a sudden you're going to find out a few things. First, you'll find out that if you can handle, enjoy, appreciate the experience that you're having, that you're going to see that you get to interact with it. It's coming and somebody pull a gun on you. It doesn't mean you just lay down and die, right? It's a situation you need to deal with. Somebody hits a tennis ball to your weak backhand. You don't just say, oh, a weak backhand. You try to improve it. You try to get better. You deal with the situations that are in front of you to the best of your ability. You don't complain about them. You don't wish they didn't happen. You don't get caught in your mind saying, I'll never let this happen again. Oh my God, how could anybody do this? And for the next 5 years of your life, this one experience you had the last 15 seconds ruined the next 5 years of your life. You know anybody like that? Can that happen? You're darn right that can happen. All you have to do is decide that you don't want to have had the experience you had, and it will ruin the rest of your life. That was the tiniest thing in the world. Get in a car accident, minor little car accident, and let your mind go off on how you could have gotten killed. You literally, it's not hard to get your mind into a state that you'll never drive again. You'll never fly again. You'll never talk to somebody else again. You just lock yourself in your stupid house, put bars on the windows, and better be careful what you eat. You know, it might have chemicals in it, even though it's marked organic. Who knows? You can do anything you want with your mind. And that will be the life you're living, because it's what's telling you is going on. And so you wake up, wake up. I'm coming back to where I started. If you think you have all these problems, you're not trying to solve them. Now do you see why I'm talking about this? There is no solving what you made up. How do I solve the fact that all these maniacs are on the road? I need to go visit the grandkids and I'm afraid to drive. How do I solve that? by stop doing that inside yourself. That's how you solve it. You don't go out there and make people get better licenses and build private roads that you can drive on. No, these are not solving anything. There is no solution by manipulating the world outside of you to fix the problem you created inside of you. So you start here, right? Let's start in a very simple place. How do I work with this? You have had experiences in your life. Every one of you, haven't you? There are certain experiences that you didn't want to have had. Every one of you have experiences inside of you that you wish didn't happen, that you didn't want to happen. Okay? And maybe they happened 10 years ago. Maybe they happened 20 years ago. Maybe they happened 30 years ago. They're still in there, aren't they? They're still in there, boogie people causing you trouble. Something happens to remind you of it. You can't live with yourself. It's bothering you in your mind, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody got anything like that? Every one of you have that. How do I know that? Because you made up a world inside your head, and if something happens outside that does not fit that world, you get very, very upset. And you get afraid that it will happen again, and you feel you need to defend yourself and protect yourself. Even if it happened God knows how long ago, it's still in your head, it's still bothering you, and you start devoting your life to what's not even happening. So that's how sick it can get if you let your mind do that. So the solution is not to figure out how to make it have not happened. It happened. The solution is how to work with your mind to come into a healthier relationship with yourself, to where you sit there and say, look, the world is not supposed to be the way I want. That's not what it's about. It's about you learning from the experiences that you are being given. They're a gift. Every single experience is a gift. Marriage is a great gift. So is divorce. Every single experience you have makes you a richer being. You're a greater being. If you get married and it doesn't work and you get divorced, it means you went through a learning experience, and hopefully you learned a lot about yourself, about relationships, about things that can go wrong, and so you are now much more capable of having a deeper, more meaningful relationship. There is nothing wrong with these things. It doesn't mean that you don't try. It doesn't say, well, what the heck, let's get divorced, drop of a hat. No, you try to work with things to the best of your ability, but you learn from every experience you have. So my starting position on how to have a healthy life and a fun life is to realize that your past already happened. You cannot undo your past. It already happened. So therefore, the only sane, logical thing to do is to honor and respect the experiences that you went through. Learn to come to peace. Learn to come into respect. I don't even want peace and respect or acceptance. I want appreciation. Because if you say, I can handle it, okay, I forgive it, I can handle it, that's not good enough. You're still holding it at a distance from you, and all you did was try to come a little bit into peace with it. No. Every single experience you have makes you a richer, greater person if you let it in, if you learn from it, if you grow from it. You have to embrace it. You have to sit there and say, someday you will get so healthy, you hear me? And I hope I'm helping, to where you will look back and you will say, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing, not a single thing. I am so grateful for the experiences that I got to go through. They made me who I am today. They made me a stronger person. They made me a greater person. They taught me how to deal with things. I can deal better with the moments unfolding with me now because of all the experience I had dealing with the moments that already happened. It's just like practice, just like tennis or sports or anything. Whatever you went through made you better. You got better at it, right? I want you to get better at life. I want you to get better at living life. And so you get to the point where you sit there and say, okay, there have been past experiences, 5 minutes ago, 20 years ago, it doesn't matter. They're over. They're over. So you get to the point where you sit there and say, they need to be over inside of me if they're over outside of me. And the only reason they're not over inside of me is I'm not letting them be. That's what's so neat once you start doing, I call this inner work. Once you start doing the inner work, you're going to realize, wow, this is a lot more fun than the outer work. Why? The outer work, everybody's competing with me. Every one of you want it to be different than I do. There's a lot of competition out there, isn't there? There's no competition with the inner work. None. If you decide your mommy and daddy got divorced when you were 6 and it's bothered you your whole life and affected all your decisions you make, just decide it's okay that mommy and daddy got divorced. No, yes. The moment it's okay with you, it's over. You're the one who decided it wasn't okay. So you sit there and say, anything inside of me that I heretofore have not been able to come to peace with, to embrace, to appreciate, start with peace. You start with forgiveness or peace, then you embrace a little bit, and then ultimately you appreciate, you honor, you respect. You came down to earth and you missed everything except the experiences you had. I came down to earth, I missed everything except the experience I had. But let me at least appreciate the ones I had. I missed everything else. In a sense, you say, they're mine. That's what unfolded in front of me. They're really holy things. They're the experience I got to have while I was on the planet Earth. They're different than anybody else's. And they're sure as heck not what I wanted, but that's the most irrelevant thing in the world, what I wanted. I just made it up. So let me learn from it. So first, are you capable of that? Yes. But you say, no, I'm not. Things happen, they hurt me. And give me a break. If you say you're not capable, you're not capable. Outside, it's the way it is. Inside, it's any way you want it to be. Do you like that painting? Your mind sits there and says, well, I need to think about it. And if you say no, guess what? You won't like it. If you say yes, you will. So it's stupid to say no. It's always best to like something. It's always best to like something because it's a lot more fun. So you get to do this. It may sound stupid, but what's stupid is not using your mind properly. Have you noticed that when things are the way your mind wants, you're happy? Have you noticed when things are the way your mind doesn't want, you're really upset? Okay? Well, you can go out there and fight with the things. You can decide to get your mind straight. Now, concerning the past, I'm telling you, you have no choice. That's a zero-choice situation. The past already happened. So all you can decide is, do you want to suffer or not? Here it goes. Suffer, neutral, ecstatic. Right? And when you were young, such and such happened. How'd you like that? Oh, it made me so happy. I'm so happy. When you were young? No, when I was young, he was so upset. I think that's neat. He got so upset. He was young. He couldn't handle it. Now I think it's just really beautiful. I love it. I love the whole experience. I want you to love every single thing that ever happened to you. Do you see why I want that? Right? Because I care about you. If you don't love everything that ever happened to you, you're going to have problems, aren't you? And they're problems that you can't solve. You can't solve what already happened, can you? Oh, but my parents got divorced and now I'm never going to get married, so I don't get divorced. That'll solve it. No, that won't solve it. That's perpetrating it. You allowed an event that took place 20 years ago to ruin your life. You can't take these problems that you've created inside yourself and then try to manipulate the reality that's unfolding in front of you and think you're going to be okay. You will not be okay, and you will mess everybody else up also. So the only way to be okay is to be okay. It's as simple as that. You sit there and say, okay, these are the things that happen to me. I love it. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you for letting me have these experiences. Period. What if they were uncomfortable? I love uncomfortable things. No pain, no gain. People work out, don't they? Beyond, go on, push hard, right? They don't go home and sue the workout studio because it hurt them. People get massages. There, you're new age people, you get massages, don't you? What if you're down there getting a massage? Rolfing. You ever get Rolf? Deep body work or something? Do you hit the guy? Do you sue him because he hurt you? No. In fact, when you're getting a massage and he or she touches a spot that's sensitive, what do? Oh, right there. Right there. Oh my God, does that hurt? Go on. Okay. You don't sue them. You don't yell at them. You don't never go back. No pain, no gain. You're willing to go through the experience of the discomfort because you want the aftermath, which is comfort. If there's something causing pain there, I want it gone. I don't want to keep it and protect it. It is the same thing inside of you. If something is causing pain because of your past, I'm telling you, you're doing it. It's not happening anymore. That's why we call it the past. How can you be bothered by something that's not happening? I'm challenging you. It's bad enough if something's happening, it ruins your life. But if something's not happening, what's wrong with you? Don't do it. That result is you sit there and you say, I got some work to do, and it's inside of me. I need to come into peace with my past. I cannot be carrying it into the future and letting the pains of my past disturb my current life. What will your life be like if you collect every experience that ever happened to you you don't like and then let it bother you for the rest of your life? That's what humans do, don't they? All right? Most people's problems are not even happening. They already happened, and they're carrying them forward. I understand it. It's not like I don't have compassion, but I'm telling you, if it is not happening outside, then you're doing it because it's not happening. So if it is still going on inside of you, you must own that. You have to own it. You have to realize, if I'm causing problems inside myself, I need to stop doing that. The answer to the question is how? It's very simple. Honor and respect your life on the planet Earth. Events have unfolded in front of you. They were the result of 13.8 billion years when they happened. And now you have to come to peace with them, embrace them, learn from them, and move on. If you did just that, your whole life would change, wouldn't it? Your past would not be running your present. So what happens is you come to a state what's called clarity. That's what we call it, clarity. I'm in here. The world is unfolding around me. Isn't that neat? And it unfolded around me before. Wasn't that neat? Now when it unfolds in front of me, you listen to this. This is so rare, but it shouldn't be. Now when it unfolds in front of me, because I don't have this garbage inside of me that it's disturbing, that it's hitting, that's reminding me of all this junk that happened before, I get to be present with what's unfolding in front of me. And now I get to interact with it from a place of clarity, not from a place of I need something from you, I'm afraid you're going to do something. All that's based on the past. Instead, you come into the present is unfolding in front of you, and you do this dance. Lao Tzu called it the Tao. That's the Tao. You're in the moment. You're in the sweet spot with the moments unfolding in front of you. You have nothing going inside of you about preference, like or dislike, or past scars or anything like that. You're just present with it, and you're going to find out that it wants something from you. Every single moment that's unfolding in front of you was meant for you. That's why it's there. Not only did it take it 13.8 billion years for it to get there, it took 13.8 billion years for you to get there. You understand that? They're like two vectors in time and space. For you to be exactly the way you are and it to be exactly the way it is, that ain't chance. It took everything to be exactly the way it was, all your genetics, all your upbringing, everything. There you are, and you're present with it, and you're going to find out that all you do every moment of your life is serve what's unfolding in front of you. You just bring your whole being, your heart, your soul, your enthusiasm, your passion, your caring, compassion, everything, into the moment, whatever it is that's unfolding, and you learn to raise it. You just raise it. And I'm telling you, if you do that, all your relationships will be the highest they can possibly be. Your job will be the highest it can possibly be. Your finance will be the highest it can possibly be. If you bring the whole of your being into what you're doing and give yourself to it purely and openly, how can you not be the best that you can be? You can't do better than that. And the next moment will bring the next moment and the next moment. You just keep doing that. That's the highest life you can live. So even though I say there are no problems, that doesn't mean you don't deal with the situations that are unfolding in front of you. There are things that are out of harmony because of the mess we've all made of everything, right? When you're clear, the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. You're a peacemaker. You're not in there messing the moment up because you're not okay. You're not in there manipulating her. You're letting her be what she is. You're present, and you're able to help her. You're able to raise the moment. So yes, there are tremendous injustices, not problems, injustices going on in this world. Maybe you've noticed. There are plenty of people that are really screwed up, that are out there expressing their mess all over the place. It's all because of what I told you. When Lenin sang, "Imagine all the people living life at peace," there's only one way that's happening. When all the people are at peace. It's not going to happen because somebody decided it's supposed to, right? It's like as long as you got this mess going on inside of you, what mommy and daddy did and all these problems that you have, and you're using the world unfolding in front of you to try to fix yourself, you're going to make a mess. And that's all anybody's doing, so don't blame them. That's what compassion says. I mean, Yogananda used to say, but by God's grace, there goes myself. If I had had all the experiences that person had, I'd think the way they think, and I'd probably be doing what they do. That's better than judging. That's called compassion. It's called understanding. Doesn't mean you don't work with it. If you're in the presence of something and it's got problems, it's out of balance, you try to raise it. You don't yell at it. You try to raise it. You try to balance it. You do the best you can. It moves on. The next thing's there. I'm telling you, you will change the world. It is amazing what being in the moment can do. It is unbelievable, the power of that, of just being in the moment and raising every moment that goes by you. You're going to find out that those vibrations go everywhere. You raised one person, they raised the person they met. They didn't beat their kid because you were nice, you smiled. Who the heck knows? You just bring your best game forward at all times with each moment that's unfolding in front of you. No complaining, no blaming, nothing. Just existence. So this is the alternative of how to live a life spinning on a planet in the middle of nowheres. It's called the spiritual life. You come in harmony, let go of this garbage you're holding inside, honor and respect the reality of life that's unfolding, say thank you for it, because it doesn't have to exist. There would be nothing. So you appreciate it, and you'll start to find that what happens is this beautiful energy starts to open up inside of you. You start to feel this joy and enthusiasm and love. That's your natural energy flow. And once that starts flowing, it can get really high. That's what great masters are. That's who you are. You're a great being. You're a being of great power. You're beautiful. You're the highest thing there is. But you are blocked with this garbage of fighting with the world because your mind decided how it's supposed to be. Right? So I hope you hear these things, work with these things. This is the spiritual life. Jai Gurudev.